Are you ready? You keep saying you want success. You keep saying you want to be great. But the question is, are you ready? Because success don't come to the one who wants it. It comes to the one who's ready to fight for it. You say you're tired, good. That means you're doing something. You say life's hard, good. That means you're in the ring. But don't you dare quit. Don't you dare let up. The dream you have is real. But it's not gonna come wrapped in comfort, it's gonna come wrapped in work. Everybody wants to shine, but nobody wants to sweat. Everybody wants the throne, but nobody wants the training. You want next level? Then give next level effort. You want results? Then show up on days you don't feel like it. You want your name remembered? Then leave everything on the field every day. Stop waiting. Stop wishing. Start moving. Start becoming. Because when the lights come on and the moment is here, it's too late to prepare. The only question left is, are you ready? You say you want it. I hear you. You're dreaming about it. You're talking about it. You're telling people this is your year, your time, your moment. You're posting about it, putting quotes on your story, writing it in your journal, speaking it into existence, and that's all good. But let me ask you something real. What are you doing? Because it's not about what you say you want. Everybody wants something. Wanting is cheap. Everybody wants success until it's time to prepare for it. See, desire, that feeling deep down, that says I need more. I deserve better. I can be greater. That's a spark. But preparation is the grind that turns that spark into a fire. Preparation is waking up before the sun and going after it when no one's watching. Preparation is studying when it's boring. It's training when your body is sore. It's practicing when you're already tired. Desire will get you out of bed once. Preparation will keep you up night after night, building, sweating, pushing, learning. Because desire without action is just a fantasy. It's a wish. And let me tell you something. This world doesn't reward wishes, it rewards work. You want to be the best, prepare like the best. I've seen it over and over again. The people who rise to the top aren't always the most talented, the most gifted, or the most lucky. They're the ones lucky. They're the ones who prepared when no one else did. They're the ones who did the hard things daily. They showed up when others didn't feel like it. They practiced the speech 10 times when everyone else stopped at 2. They stayed on the treadmill 5 minutes longer, ran the extra lap, read the extra chapter. You think the championship was won on game day? No, the championship was won in the dark, in the early morning, in the lonely workouts, in the hours no one will ever see. You think people just get lucky? Nah, people get prepared. And when opportunity shows up, they don't need luck. They just step up and deliver. You say you're ready for more. Then where's your schedule? Where's your routine? Where's your routine? Where's your grind? Where's the proof? Don't tell me you're hungry and then sleep till noon. Don't tell me you're serious and you're still making excuses. You say you're built for greatness, then train like it. You say you want to be successful, then organize your life around that goal. Cut the distractions, cut the drama, cut the noise. You can't ask for elite results with average effort. Listen, success is not a mystery. It's not hiding. It's waiting for the person who takes preparation seriously. You think you'll rise to the occasion? No, you fall to your level of preparation. So if your prep is sloppy, your performance will be sloppy. If your prep is weak, your results will be weak. But if your preparation is relentless, then when life tests you, you pass with flying colors. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. It's boring. I get it. But guess what? So is failure. So is regret. And it's not just physical pain. I'm talking emotional pain too. The pain of cutting off toxic people. The pain of walking alone. The pain of failing and trying again. The pain of being misunderstood. That pain, that's the stretch. That's life testing your capacity. That's the universe asking, can I trust you with more? And if you fold every time it hurts, you're not ready. I hear people say, I want to grow, or I want to be a beast, and I want to be unstoppable. But the moment it burns, they pull back. Listen to me. The burn is the birthplace of breakthrough. You don't become unstoppable by avoiding discomfort. You become unstoppable by leaning into it. You become powerful when you start telling yourself, this pain isn't killing me, it's building me. You stop reacting and start responding. The pain you feel today is the strength you use tomorrow. Ask any athlete, Ask any entrepreneur, ask anybody who's achieved something real. They'll tell you it wasn't the easy days that built it. It was the hard ones. It wasn't when everything went right. It was when everything went wrong. It was when everything went wrong and they didn't stop. It was when they kept going through the storm, through the heartbreak, through the exhaustion, through the tears. That's when the shift happened. That's when the real power was unlocked. Pain is a signal that change is happening. If you're sore, it means the muscle is breaking so it can rebuild stronger. If your mind is stretched, it means you're learning something new. If your habits are hurting, it means your old lifestyle is dying and something better is trying to take its place. So don't resent the pain, respect it. It's not your enemy. It's your invitation to evolve. But here's the key. Don't just feel the pain. Fight through it. You've got to push. You've got to keep showing up. You've got to keep trusting the process even when the process is rough. You can't let temporary pain rob you of permanent progress. You can't let one bad day make you throw away the whole journey. You can't let a little discomfort send you running back to what broke you. You weren't created to quit. You were built to break limits. You were built to take pressure and still perform. You were built to be stretched and still show up. Stop thinking pain is a sign to stop. It's the sign to go harder. It's the sign that you're in it. It means you stepped into something real because comfort never changed anybody. Comfort never forged champions. Comfort never built legacy. So every time it hurts, every time it burns, every time you feel that mental or emotional weight, don't pull back, press forward. Every time your body screams, I'm done, give one more. Every time your mind says, this is too much, remind it who you are. You are not average. You are not soft. You are not made to break. You are made to break through. You don't run from pain. You use it. You don't fear the fire. You walk through it. And when it's all said and done, and they ask how you made it, how you became who you are, you'll look them in the eyes and say, I didn't give up when it hurt. I kept going. That pain, that was my teacher. That was my training ground. That pain made me unstoppable. You keep waiting to feel like it. You keep waiting for the motivation to show up. You keep saying, I'll do it when I'm ready, when I feel it, when I feel it, when I'm in the mood. And that's exactly why, boy, you're not where you want to be, because motivation is weak. Motivation is like a spark. It flares up for a moment and then it's gone. Motivation can get you started, but it can't carry you through. It's too emotional, too unpredictable, too fragile. You know what wins? Discipline. Discipline shows up whether you feel like it or not. Motivation is convenient. Discipline is committed. Motivation is loud. Discipline is silent. Motivation shows up on day one. Discipline shows up on day 1,000, and that's the difference. Everybody's motivated in the beginning. Everybody's excited when it's new. Everybody posts their goals, talks about their grind, shares their plans. But when that alarm goes off at 5 a.m. on day 27, when your body is sore, your mind is tired, and nobody's cheering you on, that's when motivation is nowhere to be found. That's when only discipline will answer. Discipline is a decision you make every single day to keep showing up, to keep pushing, to keep working, no matter what. You don't need music. You don't need a quote. You don't need somebody hyping you up. You build into who you are. It's a part of your DNA now. You get up and grind because it's what you do, because you made a commitment to yourself, because you promise yourself you'll be better, and you don't break promises to yourself. You want to know why the greats are the greats? You'll tell the greats. It's not because they're motivated all the time. It's because they're disciplined all the time. The greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the people who built something real, they didn't do it on feeling. They did it on habit. They did it on discipline. You keep saying you want to be successful. You keep saying you want to break generational curses, change your life, do something big. But your actions are still tied to your feelings. You let how you feel decide how you move. That's not how greatness works. If you only work when you're inspired, you'll never get it. If you only grind when it's convenient, you'll always stay stuck, because life isn't going to wait until you feel amazing. Life doesn't care about your vibe. It cares about your choices. There are days you're not going to feel like it. Days you're going to be tired. Days you're going to be tired. Days you're going to feel empty. But if you build discipline, you'll still show up. That's what makes you different. That's what separates you. That's what makes you elite. You elite. You don't let your feelings dictate your future. You let your purpose do that. I don't care how motivated you are today. I want to know who you are when it's cold, when it's quiet, when nobody's texting you a good job, when there's no money coming in, when you're behind schedule, behind on sleep, and full of doubt. Do you still show up? Because discipline says, yes. Discipline says, oh, we do it anyway. Discipline says, I made a decision. And I'm not breaking it just because I don't feel good. That's power. That's mental strength. That's what separates the talkers from the doers. Everybody talks a big game. Everybody has a dream. But only the disciplined execute. Only the disciplined take the steps even when it hurts. Only the disciplined wake up every single day and take one more swing at it because they're not driven by mood. They're driven by mission. Motivation is based on what's happening around you. Discipline is based on what you build inside you. Discipline says, I'm going to the gym even though I'm exhausted. Discipline says, I'm sticking to the plan even though my friends are out partying. Discipline says, I'm putting in the hours even when nobody's clapping for me. This is the kind of attitude that builds something real, something lasting, something no one can take from you. You don't need more hype. You don't need more speeches. You need to learn how to do the boring stuff well. You need to learn how to stay locked in when there's no reward yet. You need to stop needing a reason to be great. You already know what you need to do. You're just not doing it consistently, and that's the word, consistently. Discipline doesn't work if it's part-time. Discipline isn't something you pull out when it's convenient. It's who you become. So stop waiting for some magical moment where everything feels right. That moment's not coming. Greatness doesn't wait for your feelings to catch up. You have to act your way into the next level, not feel your way into it. Your feelings are luxury. Your future, that's non-negotiable. Discipline gets you there. Discipline builds the life. Discipline turns a maybe into manifestation. Every single day you've got two choices. Do what's easy or do what's necessary. You can sleep in or you can rise up. You can coast or you can climb. You can let your emotions control you or you can let your vision pull you. But only one leads to greatness. Only one creates legacy. And only one builds the kind of life you say you wanted. And it's not motivation, it's discipline. And I know it's hard. I know it hurts. I know it feels lonely sometimes. But that's the cost. That's the price of the dream. Every great thing comes with great cost. But let me ask you this. Whoa, what's the cost of staying where you are? What's the cost of regret? What's the cost of never knowing what you could have been? Because you chose ease over effort. Some of you have been stuck because you're waiting for permission to sacrifice. You're waiting for someone to clap for you. You're waiting for a sign. This is your sign. Let go of what's holding you back. That thing you're scared to lose, that's probably the thing standing between you and everything you want. It's not about what you can do. It's about what you're willing to let go of so you can finally do it. You keep trying to protect your comfort and chase your calling at the same time. And that's why you're torn. That's why it's not clicking. You've got one foot in the old life and one foot in the new one, and you're getting stretched in every direction. But dreams don't live in indecision. You have to go all in. You have to burn the ships. You have to cut the rope and climb the mountain without looking back. It's not sacrifice or success. It's sacrifice then success. And until you're willing to give up who you are for who you want to become, that dream will stay exactly where it is. A wish, not a reality. You say you want success, but the moment it starts to stretch you, the moment it starts to get heavy, the moment you feel like you're breaking, you slow down, my fool. You pull back. You say, this is too much. But success doesn't live in the safe zone. It's not hiding inside your comfort. It doesn't reward people who do just enough to get by. It rewards the ones who keep going when their body says stop, when their mind is screaming quit, when the tank feels empty and they still find a way to move forward. Success doesn't come to the one who shows up on the easy days. It comes to the one who pushes past their limits on the hard ones. Because every single one of us has a limit, mentally, emotionally, physically. That place where we start thinking, I can't do this. That line where we usually stop. That's not your boundary. That's your beginning. That's where the real work starts. That's where the growth kicks in. That's where winners are born. You keep asking for the next level, but you're still operating with old limits. You want the breakthrough, but you don't want to break. You want success, but you don't want to suffer. And that's the problem. You think progress should feel good. You think elevation should feel comfortable. But let me tell you the truth. Growth feels like pain. Expansion feels like pressure. Pushing past your limits feels like hell. But that's how you become who you're meant to be. That's the cost. The reason why most people stay average is because they treat their limits like stop signs. They hit that wall and they back off. They feel resistance and they retreat. They say, I guess this is all I've got. But the great ones, they don't stop at the wall. They don't retreat when it burns. They keep going, they lean in, they press forward when everything in them is telling them to quit. And that's why they win. That's why they separate. You don't find greatness inside your limit. You find it beyond it. You find it on the other side of your breaking point. You find it after the voice in your head says to stop, and you decide to keep going anyway. That's when something shifts. That's when you unlock another level of who you are. Most people never meet that version of themselves because they never push hard enough to find it. They settle. They play safe. They say, this is good enough, and walk away from the greatness that was just one more push away. You've got more in you. You've always had more in you. But you've been living inside boundaries you created years ago. Limits someone else put on you. A definition of effort that was based on comfort, not capacity. You're not tired. You're undertrained. You're not done. You're underdeveloped. Your limits are just old rules that no longer apply to who you're becoming. If you want success, real, next level, legacy building success, you're gonna have to go war with your limits. You're gonna have to call yourself out. You're gonna have to stop quitting at 70%, stop coasting at 80%, and start living at 100% effort. Not for one day, not for a week. Every single day, you wake up and you push yourself to go a little further, a little harder, a little deeper. It's in those last few reps when your muscles scream that strength is built. It's in those last few minutes when your legs shake that endurance is forged. It's in those last few moments when your mind wants to give up that your spirit gets stronger. You don't grow by doing what's easy. You grow by doing what's necessary. You grow by doing what's necessary, going past the point where you normally quit. And I'm not just talking about athletes. This is for everyone. This is for the parent who's exhausted but still showing up. The student grinding with no sleep. The dreamer building a vision when nobody believes in them. You've got to push past where it gets hard. Push past where it gets quiet. Push past where your old self would have stopped. Because that's where the new you is waiting. There's a whole other level of life on the other side of your excuses, on the other side of your pain, on the other side of your doubt. But you'll never see it if you keep stopping at the same place every time. If you want what you've never had, you've got to become someone you've never been. And that version of you is only born through pressure. You can't microwave mastery. You can't download discipline. You can't fake next level. You got to earn it every rep, every early morning, every late night. Every moment you feel like giving up, but you choose to stay in it anyway. That's where success is made. So stop trying to find the shortcut. Stop looking for the easy way. Stop waiting for it to feel right. Hold yourself, dare yourself, go past your limits. Because on the other side of pain is power. On the other side of tired is transformation. On the other side of pressure is purpose. Success is not waiting for you at the starting line. It's waiting for you at the edge of your comfort, at the edge of your ability, at the edge of your belief. The only way to reach it is to push. You say you want success. You talk like you want it. You post like you want it. You dream about it. But when it starts getting uncomfortable, you pull back. When it starts burning, when it gets heavy, when your heart's pounding and your legs are shaking, you slow down. And that's the problem. You want success, but you don't want to go past your limits to get it. You want the results, but you're not willing to suffer for them. You want the crown, but not the climb. You want the top, but you keep quitting at the middle. You don't get greatness by stopping where it hurts. You don't build strength by quitting when you're tired. You build it when you keep going past the point where most people give up. That's the secret. The next level doesn't start when you're feeling good. The next level starts when your body says stop and your mind says no. And you dig deep and find something inside you that says keep going. Most people live their whole lives inside a box. They stay within the limits they've accepted. Physical limits, mental limits, emotional limits. They hit a wall and they say, oh, that's it. That's all I've got. But the great ones, they don't stop at the wall. They climb over it. They run through it. They live for that moment when it hurts the most because they know that's the only place where growth happens. You want success? You better be willing to go there. Your body will lie to you. Your mind will lie to you. They'll say, you're done. They'll say, you can't take anymore. But guess what? You've got more. You've always had more. But you've been living life stuck at 60%, 70%. You've been pulling back just when you were about to break through. You don't even know what your limit is because you've never gone far enough to find it. And success, it lives beyond that point. Let me break it down for you. That last rep in the gym when your arms are burning. That last lap when your lungs are screaming. That last hour of study when your brain is fried. That's not where you stop. That's where the real work starts. That's where you build what other people don't have. That's where you go from average to elite. Anybody can push when they feel good. Anybody can give effort when they're fresh. But when you're broken down, when your tank's on empty, when it feels like you got nothing left, and you still show up and you still fight, that's when success starts paying attention. You keep thinking limits are permanent, but they're not. Limits are made to be broken. You break them every time you refuse to quit. You break them every time you go one more round, one more mile, one more day. And that doesn't just make you stronger physically, it rewires your mind. It teaches you that pain is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the start of something new. The moment you cross that invisible line, you unlock something inside of you. You meet the version of you that doesn't back down, that doesn't fold, that doesn't stop until the job is done. But the job is done, you've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You got to train yourself to love the struggle because that's where the reward is. That's where your edge is. While everybody else is running from the fire, you run into it. You don't complain about the weight. You carry it. You don't look for the exit. You look for the next challenge. Because once you've tasted what it feels like to push past your limits, nothing else will satisfy you. And let me say this loud and clear. This isn't just about athletics. This is life. This is business. This is relationships. This is your dream. This is every single area where you've been playing small because you've been afraid to see what you're really made of. You think pushing yourself is dangerous? Let me tell you what's really dangerous. Settling, getting comfortable, playing it safe, living your whole life under your potential because you didn't want to sweat, to cry, to fail, to fall down, to feel pain. That's the real risk. That's the real tragedy. Success is looking at you right now and saying, how bad do you want me? Not when it's easy, not when it's cute, but when it's brutal, when it's quiet, when nobody's clapping for you, when your friends don't believe, when your body says no and your mind says quit. That's the moment where everything changes. That's when you stop being like everybody else. That's when you become dangerous. You can't fake this. You can't borrow this. You can't wish your way into success. You earn it. You take it. You fight for it when everything in you wants to walk away. You show up when nobody else will. You raise the standard when everybody else lowers theirs. And every time you push past your limit, you prove something to yourself, to the world, to the dream that you're serious. Stop quitting early. Stop setting soft goals. Stop giving up when it hurts. Your breakthrough is one more push away. Don't stop now. You've come too far to play small. You've come too far to turn back. Push through the pain. Push through the fear. Push through the voice in your head that says you can, you will. Because success doesn't come to the one who wants it. It comes to the one who refuses to stop. Everybody's hyped up about talent. Everybody loves talking about who's gifted, who's got natural ability, who was born for this. But let me tell you something. Talent doesn't mean a thing if you don't show up every single day. Talent without work is useless. It's wasted. You know what beats talent every single time? Consistency. That person who doesn't stop, that person who's not flashy, but they show up. That person who doesn't post about it, they be about it. That's who wins. I've seen it too many times. The most talented person in the room coasting, floating off potential, talking about what they could do, what they should do. Meanwhile, the quiet one in the corner, they grinding. They don't say much, but every day they're showing up, working, learning, growing, and 5 years later, that one's at the top. The talented one, still talking, still starting and stopping, still getting laughed by somebody who just wouldn't quit. Because consistency is power. It's discipline in motion. It's not glamorous, it's not sexy, and it won't get you applause every day, but it gets you results. It builds habits, it builds character. You show me a man who gets up and does the work even when he doesn't feel like it, even when no one is watching, even when it's hard and he's tired. I'll show you someone who's unstoppable, because that man can't be broken. That man's not relying on motivation. He's got discipline. He's got commitment. And that outweighs talent every single time. See, talent gives you a head start. But if you don't keep moving, somebody with less talent, but more heart, more grind, more fire, they're gonna pass you. They're gonna outlast you. Because while you were sleeping in, they were putting in reps. While you were waiting for inspiration, they were working the system. While you were taking breaks, they were building momentum. And now you're watching them win, wondering how they did it. They did by not quitting, by not missing. By refusing to let a day go to waste. You don't have to be the most gifted. You just have to be the most consistent. That's the truth they don't want to tell you. They want to believe success is about luck or fate or being chosen. No, success is about repetition. Showing up every single day, even when it's boring. Especially when it's boring. That's the part nobody wants to do. But that's the part that makes all the difference. You're not always going to feel motivated. That's reality. You're going to have days where you feel tired, distracted, unworthy, unsure. But if you're consistent, you keep showing up anyway. You don't let your emotions decide your effort. You let your commitment speak louder than your feelings. You let your vision guide your actions. And that kind of discipline, that builds power. That builds mastery. Every rep adds up. Every small task, every early morning, every late night. You stack those up day after day, and one day people are gonna look at you and say, oh, no, they ain't luck, that's consistency. That's what happens when you refuse to give up. When you stop waiting for the perfect time and just do the work. I need you to stop comparing yourself to the people who seem more talented. Because they might have a faster engine, but if they're not driving, they're not going anywhere. Meanwhile, you might be slower, you might have to work harder, but if you keep your foot on the gas, if you keep grinding, if you don't stop for anything, you'll cross that finish line. You'll pass people who look better, who sounded better, who were supposed to be better. Why? Because they were inconsistent. Inconsistency always wins in the end. You think the greats were just talented? No, they were consistent. Kobe Bryant didn't shoot 1,000 shots a day because he was bored. He did it because he knew talent would only take him so far. He wanted to dominate. He wanted to master the game. So he practiced like he had no talent at all. That's the mindset. That's the work. That's what separates the average from the legendary. Don't tell me how good you are. Show me how consistent you are. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you're doing every single day. Talk is cheap. Effort is everything. And if you want to be great, you can't afford to keep starting and stopping. You can't afford to work hard one week and disappear the next. You got to keep showing up. Keep pushing. Keep building, even on the days you don't feel like it, especially on those days. Because those are the days that count, the days you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. That's where champions are made. That's where consistency becomes identity. You do it so often, you don't even think about it anymore. It's just who you are now. A worker, a finisher, a grinder. Someone who gets it done no matter what. You don't need more talent. You don't need more opportunity. You need more consistency. That's the key. That's the unlock. That's the formula. Keep showing up. Keep grinding. And one day people won't remember how talented you were. They'll remember how unstoppable you became. You keep talking about what you're going to do. You keep posting about it, dreaming about it, telling everybody who will listen about how big your goals are, how much potential you got, what you're planning to build. But the truth is, talk doesn't build anything. Talking is easy. Talking feels good. Talking gives you a little hit of dopamine, like you did something, but you did. You didn't move the needle. You didn't shift away. You didn't take one step closer to your dream. You just talked. It's time to stop talking and start doing. It's time to stop writing it down in your journal and start putting it on the calendar. It's time to stop explaining your goals and start executing them. Because nobody's going to remember what you said you were going to do. They're only going to remember what you did. The scoreboard don't lie. The work don't lie. And right now, for a lot of people, there's a big gap between what you say and what you actually do. You want people to believe in you? Then give them something to see. Let your work be your proof. Let your effort be your evidence. You're trying to convince people with words when you should be showing them with action. You want to be respected? Grind in silence until the results speak so loud they don't need an introduction. You don't need to announce your every move. Just move. You don't need to prove anything, anybody. Just do the work, and the results will speak for you. You keep saying, I'm about to. No, you're not. If you were about to, you'd be doing it already. You keep saying, I'm trying. Trying ain't doing. You either did it or you didn't. You either showed up or you did. There's no in between. You want to change your life? Then change your action. Change your habits. Change how you show up. Don't change your captions. Don't change your profile pic. Change your grind. You keep waiting for the right time, the right feeling, the right alignment. But the right time is now. The right feeling is irrelevant. You don't need perfect conditions. You need to stop overthinking and start moving. Stop building. Stop failing and adjusting. You're trying to skip the process with your words, but there's no shortcut. Success is rented and rent is due every day. And talking don't pay that rent. Discipline does. Execution does. Consistency does. You say you want to be successful, but how many hours did you waste this week talking instead of doing? How many hours did you spend planning, thinking, hesitating instead of just starting? There's somebody out there with less talent than you, less opportunity than you, less knowledge than you, but they're outworking you. They're getting up earlier, staying up later, taking action every single day. And they're winning, not because they're better, but because they started. They moved. They executed. You think greatness is some magical thing that just happens. No, greatness is the result of thousands of small, consistent actions stacked over time. Nobody saw Jordan in the gym before the lights came on. Nobody saw Kobe shooting jumpers after the game was over. Nobody watched Serena hitting serves until her arms went numb, but they did it every single day. And that's why they're legends. Not because they talked about what they were going to do, but because they did it. You got a dream? Good. Now shut up and work. You got a goal? Good. Now disappear and grind. You got a vision? Excellent. Now protect it with action. Let the world see it when it's finished. Let the results be your rule. Because when you really want it, you don't need to talk about it. You don't have time to explain yourself. You're too busy becoming, building, living it. And I get it. Talking feels like progress, but it's not. It's just noise. You talk too much and think you're making moves, but all you're doing is distracting yourself from the real work. You don't need a new plan. You don't need more motivation. You need to start. You need to get up. You need to lock in. You need to put your head down and execute every single day, even on the days when you don't feel like it, especially on those days. Because that's when the separation happens. That's when the gap between talking and doing becomes the gap between average and elite, between wishful thinking and real achievement. Anybody can get excited for a day, but champions show up regardless. They don't talk about showing up. They just show up. So what are you waiting for? You already know what you want. You already know what needs to be done. Stop talking. Start building. Start becoming. Because no one's coming to push you. No one's coming to save you. The only one who can change your life is you. And the only way to do that is with action. Start now, not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, you've said enough. It's time to do something. You owe it to yourself, not to your parents, not to your coach, not to your friends, not to the people clapping for you or the ones who doubted you. You owe it to you. You've got one life, one shot, one opportunity to show the world who you are and what you're made of. And if you don't take full responsibility for that, nobody else will. You owe it to yourself to be great, not average, not a good enough. Great, because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with your effort. You're the one who has to wake up in the morning and look yourself in the mirror. You're the one who has to feel that fire burning or not. You're the one who knows whether you gave it everything or just enough to get by. And if you settle, if you quit, if you let fear, comfort, or laziness win, you're the one who pays the price, not anybody else. You. Stop waiting for someone to push you. Stop waiting for the applause, the permission, the perfect moment. Nothing's gonna hand you your greatness. You've gotta take it. You've gotta decide that your life matters enough to go all in, that your dreams matter enough to fight for, that your future deserves more than excuses. You weren't born to coast. You weren't created to settle. You were made to rise, but it's up to you to rise on purpose. You owe it to yourself to keep going when it gets hard. You owe it to yourself to wake up early when you'd rather sleep. You owe it to yourself to study longer, to train harder, to stay focused while everybody else is distracted. Because your dream, your calling is not optional. It's your responsibility. It's the reason you're still breathing. And if you ignore it, you don't just rob yourself, you rob the world of your gift. There are people out there who need what you carry. They need your voice, your art, your hustle, your fire, your truth. But if you never show up fully, they'll never see it. They'll never feel it. You weren't given that vision for no reason. You weren't given those talents just to waste them playing it safe. You weren't given those scars just to hide them. You were built for impact. You were built for impact. You were built to lead. But you've got to step up and own it. No more blaming your past. No more blaming your parents, your environment, your circumstances. I get it. It might not be your fault what happened to you. But it is your responsibility what you do next. It's your life. It's your turn. And if you don't go after it with everything you got, you'll regret it. You'll look back 5, 10, 20 years from now and wonder what could have been if you had just believed in yourself and gone all in. You don't get a second chance at this. This ain't a video game. You don't get to restart. You've got time now, but it won't always be there. You've got breath now, but it's not promised tomorrow. So what are you waiting for? Another motivational video, another person to believe in you, another failure to remind you that you haven't been giving it your all? No, enough is enough. You owe it to yourself to stop playing small. You've got greatness in you. But greatness doesn't show up on accident. Greatness doesn't happen when you feel like it. It happens when you make a decision. I'm not living like this anymore. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not pretending to be okay with average. I was made for more. And I'm going to act like it. That's the mindset. That's the shift. That's where it starts. Nobody else has to believe in you. You do. Nobody else has to understand the vision. You do. Nobody else has to feel the pain of discipline. You do. But that's the beauty of it. When it's your responsibility, it's also your power. You get to choose how this story ends. You get to decide how far you go. You get to control what legacy you leave behind. And it starts right now, not with words, not with wishes, but with action. You owe it to yourself to stop quitting, to stop shrinking, to stop putting your future on pause every time life gets uncomfortable, because nothing is guaranteed. Not time, not health, not opportunity. The only thing you can guarantee is that you showed up, that you gave it everything, that you honored the gift God put inside you by using it to its fullest top. You owe it to yourself to win, to prove to yourself that you can, that the sacrifice was worth it, that the struggle had a purpose, that the old version of you, the one who doubted, who feared, who hesitated, it didn't make the rules anymore. You're in charge now. You've got the pen in your hand. You write the ending. You decide if this is the part where you turn the page, step up and go to that next level, or the part where you settle for the life that almost was. Now let me tell you something. Almost will haunt you. Almost will keep you up at night. Oh, don't let your potential become your prison. Don't let your comfort zone become your casket. You got too much in you to die with your dreams still in your head. So stop talking. Stop waiting. Stop doubting. You owe it to yourself to become everything you were born to be. Success starts in the mind. Before it ever shows up in your bank account, before it ever shows up in your body, in your relationships, in your business, it starts right between your ears. You can't win on the outside until you win on the inside. That's why some people lose even when they've got talent. That's why some people fall short even with all the resources. Because deep down, they don't believe they're supposed to win. They don't believe they deserve it. Their mindset isn't aligned with success. And until it is, nothing changes. See, everybody wants success, but not everybody thinks like a success. Not everybody moves like a success because they're carrying around the wrong beliefs. They've been told they're not enough, told to play small, told that success is for other people, the lucky, the chosen, the rich, the connected, and they believed it. But let me tell you something. Success doesn't start with luck. It doesn't start with a check. It starts with a decision, a mindset shift, a refusal to be average another day. You've got to start thinking different. You've got to retrain your brain. You've got to delete the thoughts that tell you it's impossible and download the ones that say, I'll try again. You've got to override the voice in your head that says, I can, and replace it with I will. Ooh, you got to build the kind of mindset that keeps pushing when it hurts, that keeps believing when nothing's working, that keeps going when the crowd gets quiet. Because that's what separates the winners from everybody else. Success is not about your environment. It's about your expectation. Some of you are living low because you think low. You convinced yourself that this is all there is, that you can't break generational cycles, that you can't climb out of the hole. But listen to me, as long as your mind is in chains, it don't matter how much freedom you got around you, you're still trapped. You'll sabotage every blessing. You'll waste every opportunity. You'll stay stuck, not because you're not capable, but because you never believed you were worthy of more. That's why you got to shift your mindset. You got to talk to yourself different. You got to think different. You got to expect different. You got to expect different. You've got to start seeing yourself the way a winner sees themselves. That's what I had to do. I didn't grow up with money. I didn't grow up with everything handed to me. But the moment I changed my mindset, the moment I said, I'm not living like this no more, everything else began to change. Change. I stopped blaming people. I stopped waiting for a savior. I stopped looking around and started looking in the mirror. That's the moment I took back my power. Because once you change the way you think, you change the way you act. Change the way you act. And when you change the way you act, your life starts catching up to your belief. Don't wait for the world to believe in you. Don't wait for your family to support you. Don't wait for the job, the degree, the perfect moment. Believe first, decide first. Think like a champion. And then move like one. You're not broke. Your mindset is. You're not lazy. You just haven't trained your mind to push when it gets uncomfortable. Once you get your mind right, you become unstoppable. The grind is mental before it's physical. The pain is mental before it's real. That wall you keep hitting. It's not out there, it's in your mind. It's your limits, your doubts, your fears. Tear those down. Replace them with vision, hunger, confidence. Tell yourself, oh, this may be hard, but I'm harder. Or this may be slow, but I'm consistent. Or this may look impossible, but I don't quit. You gotta walk in the room like you belong there, even if nobody else thinks you do. You've gotta walk on the stage into the meeting, into your dream, like it's already yours. Because if your mind ain't there first, your feet will never get there. If your belief don't go before you, your reality will never catch up. Success is not about motivation. It's about mindset. Motivation fades. Emotions fade. But a solid mindset, that's your anchor. That's your foundation. When everything else falls apart, when people walk away, when plans change, your mindset keeps you grounded, keeps you moving, keeps you hungry. Because it's not just something you do. It's who you are. That's the level you got to get to. Where success isn't just something you chase. It's something you think, something you speak. Something you live every day, no matter what. And when that mindset is locked in, the results start showing up. Not all at once, but little by little, win by win, habit by habit, until you look up and everything you used to dream about is your new normal. But it starts right now in your mind. So flip the switch, kill the negative voice, cut the excuses, burn the victim mentality, and choose to think like a winner every single day, no matter what it looks like. No matter how long it takes, because the moment your mindset shifts, everything else follows. Every rep, every early morning, every setback is shaping you into a stronger version of yourself. You don't become elite by chance. You don't become unstoppable overnight. You build it brick by brick, sweat by sweat, sacrifice by sacrifice by sacrifice. And when you finally get there, when you finally stand at the top, you'll know you earned it. You'll know you didn't cheat. You didn't fake it. You became it. But if you try to skip it, If you try to look the part without being the part, life will expose you. The test will come and you'll fold because you didn't do the work. And you'll have nobody to blame but yourself. So stop pretending. Stop hoping. Start grinding every day. No shortcuts. No excuses. No mercy. You want it? Good. Not by what you say. Not by what you post. How about what you do every single day? Because the grind is watching. The grind is waiting. And the grind never forgets. You're gonna feel pain. That's a guarantee. You're gonna be tired. You're gonna be tired. You're gonna feel overwhelmed, discouraged, stretched, maybe even broken at times. Life's going to hit you. The journey to your dream is going to test everything inside of you. Your patience, your discipline, your faith. But let me tell you something. The only way you make it through is if your why is stronger than your pain. You can't just want it because it sounds good. You can't just want it because it looks good on paper. You have to need it like air. You have to want it so bad that giving up isn't even on the table. Because when it starts to hurt, and it will hurt, you'll quit if your why isn't deep enough. You'll fold. You'll tell yourself, I tried, and walk away. And the worst part is, you'll convince yourself you gave it your all. But truth is, you just didn't anchor your grind to something deeper. When I was homeless, eating out of trash cans, no father in my life, sleep in abandoned buildings. You think I made it through that just by being motivated? No. Motivation wears off. Emotions fade. I made it because my why was bigger than my pain. I wasn't grinding for cars, for lights, for applause. I was grinding because I said I would never quit. I was grinding because I wanted to break a curse. I wanted to be the first. I wanted to prove to myself that I matter, that I could become something, that I could create something that would outlive me. And that's what kept me going when the tears were real and the nights were cold. You gotta stop chasing comfort. You gotta stop trying to do it without sacrifice. Success is pain. It's pressure. It's showing up on the days when every part of you is screaming to stay in bed. But when your why is strong enough, you'll get up. You'll fight back. You'll push through walls because you know what's on the other side is worth it. Pain is temporary. But quitting, that's forever. When you quit, you have to live with the regret. You have to live with your what if. But when you keep going, when you endure, there's a reward. There's a version of you on the other side of that pain that's stronger, wiser, and ready for the next level. But you'll never meet that version if you give up too soon. People ask me, how do you stay consistent? Easy. My why wakes me up. My why doesn't snooze. My why doesn't care if it's rain. My why doesn't let me make excuses. My why demands everything from me because it's bigger than me. And if your dream doesn't require you to grow, to stretch, to fight, then it ain't a dream. It's a hobby, a wish. Something you say to sound good but never move on. You gotta dig deep and find it. Why are you here? What's the reason you wake up in the morning? What's that thing that makes you cry just thinking about it? What's the legacy you wanna leave? Who are you doing this for? If it's just about the money, you'll quit the second it gets hard. If it's just about the fame, you'll fall the second nobody claps. But if it's about freedom, about healing, about changing your family tree, now we're talking. Now you got something that can carry you through storms. And let me be real with you. The greater the dream, the greater the dream, the greater the pain. The higher the mountain, the harder the climb. That's the price. That's the cost. And if your why ain't worth that cost, you'll give up. But when it is, when your why is so powerful, it makes you cry, makes you move, makes you sacrifice your comfort, your distractions, even your sleep. Then you can't be stopped. You might get knocked down, but you'll get back up. Let's see. You might fall behind, but you'll catch up because you know what's at stake. You know who's counting on you. You know what you promised yourself. That's what it takes. That's what separates the ones who finish from the ones who just talk about finishing. Don't waste another day grinding for something you don't care about. Stop chasing someone else's dream. Find your why. Dig for it. Try for it. Pray on it. Write it down. Etch it in your heart. Because when the pain shows up, and it will, that's what you'll lean on. Not your friends, not motivation, not YouTube videos, your why. So the next time you feel like quitting, the next time you say it's too hard, ask yourself, is your why big enough? And if it's not, make it bigger. Make it real. Make it personal. Because when your why is stronger than your pain, nothing stops you. You owe you, not your parents, not your teachers, not your friends, not your boss, not your coach. You owe it to yourself to be great. You owe it to yourself to get up, to grind, to go harder, to stop playing small, to stop waiting for someone else to tell you you're worth it. You don't need permission to be amazing. You need a decision, a choice. And that choice starts with you, because nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to do the work for you. Nobody's going to wake you up at 4 a.m. and say, let's go get it. That's on you. See, for too long, you've been blaming other people. You've been pointing fingers. My family didn't support me. Or my city holds me back. Oh, they didn't give me a chance. Let me tell you something. Every second you spend blaming somebody else is a second you waste not becoming who you were born to be. They don't owe you anything. Life doesn't owe you anything. But you owe you everything. You owe you the truth. You owe you the grind. You owe you discipline. You owe it to yourself to stop lying about the effort you're giving. You say you want success, but your actions don't reflect it. You say you want change, but you're still living in your comfort zone. You say you're hungry, but you ain't even sweating. You owe you to keep it real. Not just with others, with yourself. Because the worst betrayal is self-betrayal. Telling yourself you'll stop Monday. Telling yourself you gave it your best. Telling yourself you don't have time. You owe it to yourself to stop letting yourself down. When was the last time you kept a promise to you? You keep promises to everybody else. You show up for your boss. You show up for your school. You show up for your family. But when it comes to your goals, your vision, your dream, you keep pushing it off. You keep breaking the promises you made to yourself. But guess what? That stops now, because you can't build confidence off of lies. You can't build greatness off of excuses. If you want to respect yourself, you got to start showing up for it. You got to start putting in the work when nobody's watching. You got to start waking up early, not because someone told you to, but because your dream demands it. You got to start studying, training, learning, not to impress others, but because you know what's inside you deserves to be unleashed. It's time to stop playing with your potential. It's time to stop acting like you got forever. You got forever. You don't. You got now. You got this moment, this chance. And if you waste it, you're going to regret it. Not them, you. You owe it to the little kid inside you who used to dream without fear. You owe it to the version of you who got hurt but kept going. You owe it to every version of yourself who didn't quit even when they wanted to. And you owe it to the future version of you, the one waiting on the other side of your grind, to do the work now so they can live free. Because if you don't step up, if you don't take ownership, you're going to keep living the same story over and over. Stuck, tired, wondering why nothing's changing. Stop waiting on someone else to clap for you. Stop needing external validation to get moving. You're already enough. You're already chosen. But chosen people still got to grind, still got to sacrifice, still got to outwork the noise. You want results? Then work for it. No more complaining. No more I don't feel like it. No more I'm not ready. If you're alive, you're ready. If you're breathing, you're called. If you woke up this morning, that's your green light. Everything you want is on the other side of effort. Everything you need is already inside you, but it doesn't unlock without discipline, without sacrifice, without consistency. And nobody can give that to you. Nobody can want it for you. That's on you. It always has been. You owe you to go to the next level, not because somebody else said you could, but because you know you can. Because you refuse to live average, because you decide today that greatness is not a destination. It's a lifestyle. You owe you to stop being afraid. Fear doesn't stop death. It stops life. You owe you to face the hard stuff, to push past your limits, to take responsibility for your habits, your choices, your outcomes. Because the moment you stop blaming, the moment you stop waiting, that's the moment you take your power back. That's when the game changes. That's when the dream gets closer. That's when you become unstoppable. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. So the next time you look in the mirror, don't just see potential. See responsibility. Don't just see a dreamer, see a doer. Don't just say, I wish I, say I wish, say I will. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what they think, it's not about what they said. It's about what you do for you with what you got right now, because you owe you Everybody wants to win, but not everybody wants to work. Everybody wants the outcome, but not everybody is willing to fall in love with the process. That's the problem. See, the process isn't sexy. The process doesn't get likes. The process doesn't get reposted. The process is early mornings when no one's watching. The process is failure after failure and still showing up. The process is studying when your friends are partying. It's training when your body hurts. Sacrificing what feels good for what's right. And most people tap out right there. Not because they can't succeed, but because they can't wait. You want to be great. Then stop chasing results. Start chasing the rep. Stop asking, when will it happen? And start saying, what can I do today? Because greatness is born in repetition. It's built in silence. It's earned, not announced. And you don't get it just because you want it. You get it because you showed up when it was hard, when it was boring, when it felt like nobody cared, and you kept grinding anyway. Most people fall in love with the idea of success. They fall in love with the applause, the money, the lifestyle. But the truth, that stuff is at the very end of the line. It's the reward for people who endured when it would have been easier to quit. It's for the ones who put in the hours no one saw. You want the rewards, but do you want the routine? Because success is in the routine. In the habits, in the daily decisions to be better than you were yesterday, even if nobody notices. There are days when the results won't show up. There are weeks when it feels like nothing's working. But that's not the time to die. That's the time to dig deeper. That's the moment where winners are made. Not in the light, but in the dark. Not when it's easy, but when it hurts. You can't fall in love with the destination and hate the road that takes you there. You can't crave the mountain and refuse to climb. You've got to learn to love every step, every rep, every drop of sweat. Because if you don't love the process, you'll never last long enough to reach the promise. You can't skip steps. You can't microwave greatness. You got to cook it slow. You got to let time do what it does. And while time is working, you got to keep working. There's no elevator, just stairs. And you got to take them every single day. One missed day becomes two. Two becomes a week becomes a habit, and that habit becomes the reason you never get there. But if you show up, if you commit, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, you'll separate yourself from 99% of people who quit at a time. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. That's part of it. But the process doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your excuses. It only responds to effort. You show up, you grow. You skip steps, you stay stuck. That's the truth. There's no easy way. You either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The choice is yours. But if you really want this, if you mean what you say, then you got to embrace the grind. You got to find beauty in the repetition, joy in the struggle, purpose in the pressure. And when you start to love the process, everything changes. You stop comparing yourself to others because you're focused on your own lane. You stop chasing quick wins because you're committed to long-term growth. You stop fearing failure because you understand every failure is a lesson. Every rep is a seed. Every struggle is shaping you. And when the time comes, when the spotlight finally finds you, you'll be ready. Not because you got lucky, but because you earned it. Every single day is an opportunity to get better. Every morning is a chance to train your mind, your body, your character. Don't waste it. Don't wish for ease, wish for endurance. Don't pray for shortcuts, pray for strength. The people at the top, they didn't get there because they were chosen. They got there because they kept showing up long after others gave up. They fell in love with the work. They embraced the process. They didn't need hype. They had hunger. So the next time it feels hard, the next time you think about quitting, remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself what you're building. Remind yourself that no one else can do it for you. You've got to earn it, brick by brick, day by day. The process is not punishment, it's preparation. The process is not meant to break you, it's meant to build you. Love the grind, respect the journey, trust the process, because that's the only way to become who you were meant to be. You think because you got the job, you've made it. Because you hit a target once, you're done. Because you got a little applause, you can coast now. Let me tell you something. Success is not owned. You don't buy it once and get to keep it. You don't earn it and then rest. Success is rent, and the rent is due every single day. That means what you did yesterday doesn't matter today. That win you got last week, nobody cares today. That record you broke last year, it doesn't pay today's bills. You gotta wake up hungry every day. You gotta fight for your dream every day. Because the second you stop grinding, the second you stop showing up, that success starts slipping away. You don't get to keep greatness. You earn it daily through discipline, sacrifice, and work. Every morning, success looks at you and says, what do you have for me today? Not what did you do last month? But what are you doing now? Are you still hungry? Are you still locked in? Or did you get salt the second you got a taste? The ones who make it, they never stop paying rent. They never stop paying rent. They never get comfortable. They never assume they've arrived. Because the moment you think you arrived is the moment you start declining. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will. When you get too comfortable, you stop evolving. When you stop evolving, you fall behind. You fall behind. Success doesn't stay with the lazy. It doesn't stay with the entitled. It stays with the consistent, with the obsessed, with the relentless. You want to be great? Then stop asking for easy. Start demanding more from yourself every single day. You got to earn your spot daily. Just because you made the team doesn't mean you get to play. You've got to prove yourself in every practice, in every rep, in every moment. You've got to bring the same hunger you had when you were at the bottom, even when you're on top. That's the real test. Not can you get there, but can you stay there? There's always somebody coming for your spot. Someone younger, hungrier, more focused. You think they're sleeping? No, they're watching you, studying you, waiting for you to slip, waiting for you to hit snooze, waiting for you to take your foot off the gas. And the moment you relax, they take your place. So don't you dare slow down. Don't you dare think for 1 second that success gives you days off. You gotta fall in love with the process of paying rent. Fall in love with the early morning. Fall in love with the grind. Fall in love with doing the work again and again and again. Because it's not about one big moment. It's about consistency. It's about stacking up small wins until they turn into something unstoppable. You can't just show up when you feel like it. Champions show up even when they're tired, even when they're discouraged, even when no one's watching. That's rent being paid. Your goals don't care how you feel. Your future doesn't care if you're comfortable. The dream you said you wanted is still waiting, but it only belongs to the one willing to pay for it. Every single day. You think Kobe took a day off because he is 61? You think Serena stopped training because she won a title? You think MJ stopped showing up because he won rings? No, they showed up more. They worked harder after they won because they understood the rent never stops. If anything, the price goes up. Some of you work hard to get out of struggle, then forget what built you. You forget the grind. You forget the hunger. But what got you here is what keeps you here. You stop doing the work, you lose it all. It doesn't matter how good you are. It matters how consistent you are. And I get it. You're tired. You're frustrated. You're not seeing the results fast enough. But that's part of the rent. You keep going even when it doesn't feel good. You keep grinding even when it doesn't look like it's working. Cool. It is working. Every rep, every step, every sacrifice is compounding. You just haven't seen the final bill clear yet. But it's coming. If you don't stop negotiating with the rent. You don't get to pick and choose which days you pay. You pay when it's raining. You pay when it's cold. You pay when you're hurting. That's the cost. And if you're not willing to pay it, don't expect the results. Don't expect the lifestyle. Don't expect the dream. Because dreams don't come to the part-timers. They come to the people who live this every moment, every breath, every move. You want it, then prove it. Show up like it matters. Work like you're broke. Train like you're losing. Focus like your future depends on it, because it does. And when you feel like you've done enough, do more. That's rent. When you feel like quitting, keep going. That's rent. When you've already won, stay hungry. That's rent. Success is rent. And rent is due every single day. Pay it. You think your future cares that you're tired, that you're not in the mood, that you feel unmotivated? No. Your future doesn't care about your feelings. Your future doesn't care if you woke up sad or bored or frustrated. It cares about one thing: your discipline, your consistency, your ability to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. You keep waiting to feel ready. You keep waiting inspired. You keep waiting inspired. You keep waiting for the perfect day, the right mood, the right vibe. But let me tell you something. If you live by your feelings, you'll never get anything done. You'll never be great. You'll never make it to the top because your feelings are liars. Your feelings are lazy. Your feelings are weak and disciplined. Discipline is what separates the winners from the quitters. Anybody can work hard when they're hyped up. Anybody can grind when they're motivated. But what about when you're exhausted? What about when no one's cheering? What about when life hits you in the face and says, not today? That's where discipline steps in. That's where success is built. Not in your good moves, but in your heart. Not in your excitement, but in your execution. Your future isn't built on how you feel. It's built on what you do in spite of how you feel. Champions train when they're tired. Leaders lead when they're stressed. Legends rise when they're broken because they've trained themselves to follow through no matter what. Discipline said, I don't need to feel it. I just do it. Discipline says, it's on the schedule, so I show up. Discipline says, I've got goals and my emotions don't run this show. I do. You want to change your life? Then stop giving your feelings so much power. Stop letting them control your day. Stop letting them decide whether or not you chase your dream. Your alarm goes off. You don't want to get up? Too bad. Get up anyway. You don't feel like showing up, do it anyway. You don't feel like studying, training, working, pushing? That's when you must. Because your feelings won't pay your bills. Your feelings won't build your legacy. Your feelings won't get you to the next level. But discipline, that's your elevator. Discipline is the engine that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. Feelings come and go. Discipline stays. Feelings are emotional. Discipline's intentional. You don't need motivation. You need a system. You need non-negotiables. You need routines that you stick to no matter what. Winners build system. Losers build excuses. You think the greats were excited every day? You think they smiled through every rep, every setback, every lonely moment? No, they were hurting. They were doubting, but they kept showing up. That's the difference. Every time you skip what matters because of how you feel, you rob your future. You steal from your own destiny because of work you didn't do today. That's one more day you stay stuck. That's one more day you delay your dream. But when you ignore the mood, ignore the emotion, and choose discipline, you move forward, one brick at a time, one step at a time. And eventually, you build something unshakable. Stop saying, I don't feel like it. You think greatness cares how you feel. You think that championship cares about your mood, that business you want, that dream you wrote down? It's not waiting for your feelings. It's waiting for your effort. It's waiting for your discipline. The grind doesn't care if you're in the mood. It just asks, did you do the work? When you're tired, do the work. When you're discouraged, do the work. When your heart's not in it, do the work. Because doing the work is what builds your future, not talking, not waiting for a better mood, just doing. That's how you change your life. People think success is about hype. No, success is about habits. Habits you build when no one's watching, when there's no applause, when the world is quiet and it's just you raise your excuses. That's where transformation happens. That's where legends are made. When you train your body, your mind, your soul to stop waiting on feelings and start moving on standards. If you only move when you're motivated, you'll lose. If you only grind when you're excited, you'll fall behind. But if you train yourself to do the work no matter what, you become unstoppable. And every time you choose discipline over emotion, you get stronger. Every time you show up when it's hard, you take back control. You become the version of yourself your future has been waiting on. So stop looking for the right mood. Start building the right mindset. Stop chasing the feeling. Start chasing the standard. Because in the end, the results don't come to the emotional, they come to the discipline. The future doesn't care how you felt. It only knows what you did.